Hello, everybody. So, I thought I would say a thing or two about Star Wars and how I feel about Star Wars in 2026. And here's Molly, and she hates it when I do videos because she wants attention, and I'm not going to give it to her because I'm busy. I'm busy with the Star Wars video. But, so, Star Wars is bad. We know Star Wars is bad now. And I'm seeing this crap with Mark Hamill and Obama together pushing May the 4th, and it's like, look, man, the Star Wars is really depending on Democrats to watch their stuff, and I think they know nobody else wants to watch it. And I don't understand how Star Wars has become political. I really don't think wokeness is what has destroyed Star Wars. I really don't. I think it's a bunch of losers that don't know how to make a good movie that destroyed Star Wars, period. And I think this is more common than not with the way the right tends to react to things and say, oh, it's wokeness, it's wokeness. I'm like, no, it's not wokeness. It's just bad movie making. Now, I'm going to talk about how I feel about Star Wars. I was raised up on the original trilogy. They re-released that original trilogy right around, I was like 9 when I saw Return of the Jedi, or no, it was Empire Strikes Back, maybe. It was one of the last 2 movies that I saw in theater. It could have been the last one, I don't remember. But I really enjoyed it, and it blew my mind. And eventually I saw the other movies at home, but I love that trilogy, and I view those movies as one long movie. Right, like people like, oh, I like A New Hope, but I don't like the other ones, or I like this one, I don't like the other ones from the original trilogy. I view them as similar. I view them as one movie. So, even though the Ewoks sucked and it would have been cooler to have Wookiees, overall I view that trilogy to be good. I view that trilogy to have a good overarching story with the stuff with Luke and Darth Vader, and I thought the bad lightsaber fights, I think the bad lightsaber fights helped to emphasize that the fights in that movie were not about acrobatics. The fights in that movie were not about Jedi powers. I mean, they were to a point, but the fights in that movie were more symbolic between what was happening inside those characters. And what the new the episodes 1 through 3 and after, they made it more about the action than they did about these themes, what was happening within the characters, what these characters actually represented. So I think young people that are like, oh, the old movies suck because the lightsaber fights were no good. Like, I think that they're simple-minded people. I don't think they're very intelligent people. They don't see these movies in a deeper light, because they weren't meant to have crazy fight scenes. It's not, you were supposed to use your imagination. So anyway, let's skip to the 1 through 3 trilogy. I remember liking episode 1 when I was a kid a lot. I remember not liking episode 2, and I remember liking episode 3 a lot. Now, I don't think 1 and 2 hold up. I think they're even worse than they used to be. I need to force my way to get all the way through Star Wars episode 1 again, because I've only watched it like once or twice when I was a kid. I remember my buddy back in the day was I remember I was at his house and we're watching Star Wars episode 1, and his brother walked in and he's like, are you watching this movie again? Like, we were very into it at the time. I think episode 3 is the only one of those 3 that really is worth watching these days. But like, those movies had problems, but I don't know, man. They were not as bad as these new movies. Like, so let's skip to let's skip to episode 7, right? Was it episode 7 with Rey? A lot of conservatives are like, oh my god, I didn't like this movie because it had a female protagonist. That's not how I felt at all. I like Rey a lot. I thought she was a good character in that first movie. The flaw with this character is, and this is why I think a lot of people that, I think some people make Star Wars political in a way that it's totally not. It gets political in some ways, we'll get there, but overall this is overblown, where they're like, why is she a woman? Why did she, she doesn't come from anything, and they just overthink it and shit, and it's like, dude, it's fine that she's a woman. The problem is the writing and the character building and everything is trash after that first movie. They didn't know where to go with it. And my biggest complaint about that movie was that it was too much of a ripoff of The Empire. It was one of the old movies that they totally ripped off. It was like the same movie. So that is my big complaint about that movie. But all in all, it wasn't bad. All in all, it worked. And I said, well, this movie's not perfect, but I like where we're going with Star Wars. This is a good direction. And then they released The Last Jedi. And boy, that movie was a big, stupid piece of crap. I don't want to go into it, right? But the whole Force Ghost with Luke Skywalker, that never made any sense. All the moments in that movie where you thought they were heading in the right direction. And then they were like Kylo Ren saying to Rey, hey, join me, let's become a partnership and fuck up these Jedi. That would have been interesting, but no, they just said, nah, let's not do that. Why even bring it up if there isn't some like another power struggle? It was pointless. The storytelling was horrible. And I tried to watch the movie after it, but I was just so done. I have the movie, and I still have not found a way to get through it because it's really bad. Like, it's really bad. And I don't know if the third movie out of this trilogy is bad. I can't get myself to get through it. I don't care anymore. They're gonna have to come up with something more mature and more intelligent. Because people mix up mature and intelligent. I want both. I want this to be a smart movie. The next movie they make. And I don't have faith in them. I think they have a bunch of terrible, terrible writers. And they're fully leaning into the Democratic voters now. Because the only people left that like Star Wars are like mentally ill people and Democrats. And often they're the same thing. And I'm not trying to say this because I'm some kind of far righter or anything like that. I'm saying mentally ill people don't have the mental faculties to break down the obvious, which is Star Wars sucks. I mean, these new movies suck. I don't think the new movies have somehow made the old movies bad. I'm not one of those idiots. I think people that say that are idiots. New movies don't make old movies bad. That's stupid. But like, if you watch The Last Jedi and you think it's a good movie, your brain's not fucking right. And I don't care what people say. Like, there's something wrong with you if you think The Last Jedi is a good movie, period. And like, look, today is going to be May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. They're going to have their fucking stupid Star Wars thing in Disneyland. I challenge you, watch the live stream and look at the people there. Look at their faces, look at how they dress, look at their hair color, and tell me that it's a bunch of sane looking people. I give you permission to profile once in your entire life. Just look at the crowd at Disneyland or Disney World, or wherever the fuck it is today, where they do this big stupid Star Wars thing, like this big dumb cash grab. It's mostly old Star Wars stuff. They're not really pulling from the new stuff because they know no one likes it. So these are the only two people they have left, Democrats and mentally ill people, to prop up their shitty brand. They are not interested in writing a good movie for everybody. Maybe they've given up on that. I don't know, but I guess there's enough idiots out there to watch these shitty movies. I thought that the majority of human beings on the planet thought Star Wars was a big piece of shit these days. So, and I'll tell you what I want from Star Wars. I want them to dig into Star Wars Jedi Knight a little bit. Now, they did the first game of the franchise, Dark Forces. They re-released it. They did a port onto PC. I mean, it was always on PC, but the only copies you would find were probably DOS, discs, floppy disks, or whatever. So what? They re-released Dark Forces, and I don't know that Disney is in the position to make a good Dark Forces 2 remake, but they should at least port Dark Forces 2 out, because that's really where Jedi Knight found its footing. That's where they called it Jedi Knight. It went Dark Forces and then Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight. Confusing, I know. Because it goes Star Wars, Dark Forces 2, which is like 2 brands together. So, and then Jedi Knight, which is 3 brands. I didn't think I thought Jedi Knight 2 kind of sucked. I thought Jedi Academy was better than 2, but it wasn't as good as Dark Forces 2. Stay with me, Monty. Stay with me. But they need to get their shit together to the point where they can actually re-release. They can port. They need to port and then remake Dark Forces 2, and then they need to make a movie or a TV show out of it. They need to get their shit together about it, but they're really not, and I don't like it. I don't like where they're going. I don't have any faith in Star Wars anymore. I don't think they're gonna address the fact that they have a bunch of morons writing all things Star Wars. It's good that Kathleen Kennedy is out, because she couldn't make good Star Wars products. They need to make Star Wars for men. Look, Star Wars is meant for guys. It's not meant for women, period. And I think they're trying to do everything they can to get women to be into Star Wars. Women have always liked Star Wars. The amount of women that you will get watching Star Wars is pertinent on you making a good movie. But I understand, like I said before, the Rey being a female did not affect my liking of the episode 7, whatever it was called. My liking of the Force Unleashed or whatever, Force Awakens. My problem with losing my train of thought, it's that they didn't go anywhere with the story after that. The only thing they had to say was, we have a female character, and that's not enough. That's not enough for everybody else that is not woke. So if you make a really good movie with a female character, most people won't care. Most people won't be pissed off about it. But if you're trying to do whatever you can to get women to watch Star Wars, and it becomes very superficial shit, and it doesn't come down to good writing, then you're sunk. Then no one's gonna like your movie, and your audience is gonna shrink more and more and more. And I think that's right where we're at. I think that's right where we're I had to let the dog in. But I think that's where we are at with Star Wars right now, is the audience is shrinking, and rather than trying to go back to their roots and figure out why Star Wars became hugely popular in the first place, they want to superficially expand it. The way you expand it is by making a objectively good movie. So that's my opinion. My opinions about May the 4th. Every time this comes around, like the past 3 years, 4 years, it's just embarrassing. And I see WWE, like, fucking, they got, I forget who it was. They had, Booker T with a lightsaber. I don't know if the race is a factor there, but that's not important to me. What's important to me is that it was a stupid clip, and everyone, and even the White House has fucking Trump dressed up as the Mandalorian in some AI art thing. Like, does Disney not, does Star Wars have no, is Star Wars open domain now? Is everybody allowed to just like rip off Star Wars and not get in trouble, not get sued? I don't get it, man. Anyway, thanks for watching.